Oh, what's happening, guys? It's been a long time. Um, Thanks for the kind words I've received from some quarters. Len F, TV, Northern King, Dr. Rackpull, a few others, Mr. Woodsman, saying, come on, Griff, where's your bloody videos, man? And yeah, I've been struggling to make content on this subject lately. Just felt like it all went a bit bleak for a while. So where are we? I think the last one I made was just before the 3D Fight Club. It's turned into a right palaver, isn't it? Firstly, well done, Ashstring. I said to him, I didn't say to him, I typed it. And he may have read it, but I said to him just before his fight, I said, bit of advice, Ash, obviously because I'm an expert in hand-to-hand combat. I said, bit of advice, Ash, and I'm not even joking, don't forget to breathe. And I don't even know if he saw it, but as it turned out, it was probably the best advice he got. You know, in these sort of pressure situations in life, we go through life, don't we? Just breathing away. Breathe, in it. And once we stop breathing, like that's when we die. So it's really quite important. And, and it's surprising, isn't it, in pressure situations. Like, fighting, taking a penalty in the last minute of the World Cup final, shagging. We tend to forget to breathe, don't we? Do you know what I mean? And so, yeah, very important. And apparently fighting trolls forgot to breathe. And he said now the reason he lost the fight is because he couldn't breathe. Well, if you're not fit and you do sort of strenuous activity, very quickly you can't breathe because you're not fit. It's probably nothing to do with your adenoid. When he was talking about that big ruck he'd had in training, I don't ever remember him saying, oh yeah, I had this big ruck in training that I want to tell you all about because it was such a big ruck in training. But after 2 minutes of that big ruck in training, I couldn't breathe. What happened was the occasion got to him and he forgot to breathe. So they'd been slugging it out and nobody probably stopped to take a breath. Bear with me, guys. Funnily enough, let me tell you a funny little story here, which I probably shouldn't. This t-shirt, right? You'll see it in my Foot Golf's Coming Home, the movie. Polite, yeah? That star represents, actually, my victory in the Swansea Open. But years ago, I know it's hard to believe, but I used to do drugs. And one time, I'd ordered some drugs, and a chap came to my house who I'd never met before, who was probably working under duress for some other man done. And he came to my house and I let him in my front door and he was in my hallway. And he'd obviously been watching too many episodes of Starsky and Hutch. But he asked me to open my coat or my jacket. I had a similar sort of hoodie, zipped hoodie on. And he asked me to open my jacket to make sure I wasn't wearing a wire. And I'm like, what? He said, open your coat. And he was quite an aggressive young man then. So I went like that, to show him I didn't have a wire on. And the first thing he would have seen would have been this. And then this. Without the star in those days. And I had to go like, as I went like that, I realised what was happening. And I was like, oh, it's just this polite. It's like a joke t-shirt. It's supposed to look like a police t-shirt. So yeah, when somebody comes around your house to sell you drugs, probably best not to be impersonating a policeman when asked to prove you're not wearing a wire. Anyway, a bit of digression there, if that's the word. Yeah, so, well done to Ashstring. I've said in previous videos about the 3D Fight Club, it had to be done properly. And the most important part in terms of us, the public watching it. And without us, it's nothing. Without the people putting money into it to fund it, i.e. customers. And the most important part was always going to be the quality of the filming, the production type stuff, and and the pay-per-view and all that business. And I think I've said it in previous videos, and they got all that bit wrong. They didn't obviously take that serious enough. So obviously, stop saying obviously about things which aren't actually obvious, Rich. Yeah, the first press conference, innit? The filming was poor, the sound quality was poor, and there was all that drama going on, with Lazar getting hit and slapped, etc. That footage, filmed properly and then edited properly, that could have been gold. And the best sort of footage that come from that press conference came from like people filming on their phones, nothing to do with 3D, people watching in the audience or whatever. And the same thing happened at the fight, didn't it? Because I watched that. I was in Ireland at the time for Four Nations make my international foot golf debut, Maybe I'll talk about that later or again. But I was in Ireland and we'd been playing foot golf in the day against Ireland and England. And me and a few of my teammates were in a bar. And it was Saturday. And I remember thinking, it's that fight. And I hadn't bought the pay-per-view because I didn't know if I was going to be able to watch it because I was in Ireland and busy. But what had originally put me off was the press conference coverage, and then the second press conference especially. I thought, after the first press conference, I thought, right, maybe they learned, we got to film this properly, we got to have the sound right, blah, blah, blah. Do believe the second press conference had improved slightly, but not much. And then I thought, if they're not ready to film a press conference properly, I don't imagine this pay-per-view is going to be up to much. And because I didn't know if I was going to be able to watch it, I thought I'll just watch it later. There's bound to be footage of it going around later. And then I was in this bar with my mates, and I thought, Astring Trolls fights tonight. I was checking my phone, and I don't know what it was, maybe half 8, 9. And and obviously there'd already been technical issues, weirdly enough, and the fights were being shown, I think, on Astring's channel and Cesspit and a few other places. And I could see that, one of the fights I was watching it, before the Dring Trolls fight. And I was watching it and the footage was weird. They obviously had two cameras and they kept cutting from one camera to the other for no apparent reason. Sometimes taking the fighters out of shot. The fighters would be in shot fighting and they'd cut to the other angle and you couldn't see them. So somebody had a camera pointing where you couldn't see all the ring, which wasn't a good idea. So I was watching this footage thinking, this footage is a bit fucking daft. And I had to go up to my room, my hotel room, to get changed. So I was watching and I thought, that's what I'll try and do. I'll try and catch this Trolls Dring fight when I go and get changed, etc. So I went out to my hotel room. I was there for a bit, blah, blah, blah. And then the Trolls Dring fight come on. I thought, I'll just stay in my hotel room, watch that, and go back and see the boys. So I was watching it. As I say, the footage was quite poor. You couldn't really see what was going on. I don't know if that was because I was just watching it on a phone, but it was poor coverage. You could just about make out what was happening. Obviously, Astring done him then, didn't he? And I thought, tidy. I was well happy that Ash had won because of stuff that had gone on in the build-up or whatever. I thought Trolls was very disrespectful. As were they both probably, but, I think there was stuff that had gone on with Trolls that had done my nut in a bit. And so I was glad that Ash had won. I thought it was very important to his long-term future that he won. And then I went back to the pub we were in with my mates or whatever. get back on the fucking Heineken 0-0s. And I thought, well, that's obviously been a bit of a farce, that event, you know what I mean? It hasn't been done as well as it could have, etc. Footage was pretty bleak, you know. I was glad that Dring had won or whatever, but... And then over the next couple of days then, you know, there was different footage emerging, and there was somebody filming. Apologies, I don't know who it was. But they must have been standing by the corner when they were filming, you know, and the ending of the fight. And the footage was quite good then, you know. When I first watched it, I didn't think anybody had actually connected until the last couple of punches. As I say, because of the quality of the footage, but when you could see the close-up footage, the last sort of 30 seconds, it was a right fucking slugfest, you know what I mean? Paul was swinging and missing, Dring was swinging and missing, and Dring caught him a few times or whatever, and Paul had forgotten to breathe, as I mentioned earlier, and that was the end of that. So, yeah, I don't know. You know, if you're going to do these events, for it to work, you know, because the pay-per-view didn't work properly, they probably had to refund loads of people, so they haven't brought in as much money as they thought they were going to. And then there's all this stuff with fighters not getting paid what they were expecting, etc. Do you know what I mean? I was going to make a video this morning, and I watched the real Danny G's breakdown of 3D, and I had to go and have a fucking lie down. Fucking hell, classic, real Danny G. A lot of people give him grief, but, you know, I watch YouTube, this sector, this genre of YouTube, purely to be entertained, you know what I mean? I don't watch podcast wars type stuff, you know, to be informed or educated or anything. It's purely entertainment, and the real Danny G is entertainment. You know, he was saying that the reason he didn't fight on the 3D thing or whatever, didn't consider it, is because he wants 50 grand and he wants his money up front. And he said, you know, no disrespect to Dougie and Dean, but if they owed me 50 grand, I'd be fucking chopping their heads off with an axe, I think he said. And he'd have 50 boys smashing up bottles. Oh, he's great, man. But, yeah, so there's been lots of drama going on lately, and lots of stuff with Ditchy and Dean and Decker. And Uncle K's disappeared off the scene. I like Uncle K. He seems to be getting shit now. There's people giving him shit, you know. A lot of people giving him shit now who weren't when he was about. But I like Uncle K, you know. At least he says what he fucking thinks, innit? You don't have to agree with it, but at least he doesn't say one thing to one person and a different thing to a different person, like a lot of these people on here do. You know, who they are and their sort of character, personality or whatever, how they come across. It depends who they're speaking to. Do you know what I mean? Trolls being a classic example of that. You know, his whole persona is dependent on who he's talking to. You know, and I can't sort of deal with that type of thing. Same with, what's his name? Ditchy. Although he's trying now to sort of change that. I don't know, he's just too much of a know-it-all for me. But, you know, something he was saying yesterday about his raffles. They're a good idea, aren't they, if you do them properly? He said he's got 2 tickets to Liverpool, VIP type stuff. And he sells 14 tickets, 100 quid each in a raffle. And the winner gets 2 tickets, a VIP meal and all that for Liverpool. He makes 1,400 quid over something that probably cost him a whole lot less. And somebody gets 2 tickets VIP to Liverpool for 100 quid. And the winning number is dependent on the lottery numbers. So, you know, you can't rip people off. So, yeah, you know, Ditchy's a funny one, and he talks some sense, but then he comes on giving people advice. He's like some sort of YouTube careers advice fucking master. See him on a lot of channels telling people how to grow their channels, and he was doing it on Cesspit the other day, and I think they were thinking, oh mate, we're alright, thanks, we know what we're doing, and if we don't care. But yeah, what else? Lazar, see, you know, after that press conference thing and he was doing the lives, I enjoyed watching him. And then I saw stuff then, but he was trying to get Uncle K sort of hassle of fucking social services. It's like, oh, fuck off, mate. You know, same with trolls the other day. Oh, putting a post up. Should I grass up fucking Fighting Irish to YouTube because he's being mean? It's like, mate, you know, I presume, yeah, I always have anyway, that that the rules of YouTube, I think, should be obvious, yeah? If you don't like what somebody's saying, then fucking don't watch them. If somebody makes a video slagging you off, then fucking either ignore it or fucking respond. And if you feel that somebody's overstepped the mark, then catch up with them and smash their fucking heads in. Do you know what I mean? But trying to get people to bring social services on people, trying to get people, their channels taken down by messaging YouTube. It's like, if that was the case, everybody's channel would be taken down, wouldn't it? Fucking, you know, you can't please all the people all the time. There's lots of people who don't like fucking what people are saying. Yeah, Johnny Woodsman's knocking out a lot of material at the moment. You know, I like Woodsman. There's been all these people. It's been said many, many times he's run to Thailand, he's got a dodgy past, blah, blah. You know, nothing's really emerged to confirm that, you know. I still haven't got him on my list of people who I'd let babysit my kids, even though 3 of them are adults. But, you know, all this sort of abuse he gets about being a wrong un and all that. Bit wrong, really. You know, what happens with YouTube and it, people will say stuff, yeah, and then the politically correct brigade will jump on it, and it's like, oh, I know, be outraged, innit? Be absolutely outraged. Oh, that video with him and his wife when he was waking her up and pissing about her. And everybody's, outraged. Oh my God, how could he treat her like this? Missus don't give a fuck. She knows what he's like. Fuck, if you're going to go out to the woods, man, you know you're dealing with a fucking lunatic. Do you know what I mean? She's like, probably thinking, Johnny, fuck off, mate. I'm fucking trying to get some kip. You know, so she probably deals with his madness round the clock. But people posting, trying to make out he was doing some sort of sexual fucking assault and all that. And, you know, it's the same with fucking Ashstring, innit? When he said, come round and fucking Gilbert grape your fucking missus. Yeah, it's a fucking stupid thing to say, do you know what I mean? But in that situation, when you got these 2 lunatics arguing and screaming abuse at each other, then it's all fucking words, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's all just fucking words. But then people jump on it. It's like, oh my God, he said that. There's this thing on YouTube now where you got these, and I hate this sort of shit, where you got like people talking about women like they're fucking children. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I got 3 daughters, I got a granddaughter, so yeah, obviously women should be treated equally and all that. That to me goes without fucking saying. But when you got blokes like, you know, you got a bloke and a woman arguing, yeah, and they'll be arguing, just having a normal, like a YouTube normal fucking back and forth. And then people will be jumping on it, you can't speak to a woman like that. It's like they're this fucking, you know, but the same blokes are fucking actually disrespectful to women. It's all a fucking charade, do you know what I mean? You know, you'll have somebody going, I don't want to mention names, but you'll have people going, how dare you speak to a woman like that? And then in the next breath, they'd be like, yeah, so I'm meeting this bird next week and hopefully I'll be smashing her. You know, you can't have it fucking both ways, do you know what I mean? So there's all this virtue signaling, you know. It's rampant in the fucking real world, isn't it? Where if you say this, you're racist. If you say this, you're homophobic. If you say this, you're fucking transphobic. If you fucking breathe, you're fucking airphobic. If you fucking, you know, if you don't fucking believe this, you're fucking a climate change denier. If you don't, you're fucking 90 and deny us, this, it's all this fucking bullshit, you know, in the real world, which normal people are trying to fucking curb and trying to keep the world a little bit fucking real. And there's people doing it on in this environment of this madness, you know, just accepting it. The little area of YouTube that we're all fucking talking about here, it's just fucking insane. So let's stop pretending normal human rules apply. Yeah, it's like Rackpull. Fuck, he's back. You know, it's like Rackpull, right? Now, there's been this 3D Fight Club. Apparently, people have been paid 200 quid. I'm not going to go too deep into that because, as I said sometimes, yeah, it is none of my business what they've been paid. And, you know, Danny G said it as well as I've heard said earlier, actually. He was saying they should have been paid what they promised, yeah? Because if they were promised X amount, they should have got that, yeah? They turned up. But then he was also saying a lot of them, because they didn't train properly and because of the way the fights panned out, he said a lot of them don't fucking deserve anything. He said a lot of them don't even fucking deserve 200 quid. You know, and I thought, yeah, that's probably spot on. They should have been paid what they fucking earned. A lot of them earned their money, you know, people like Swan and a few of the other fights, you know, a lot of them, you know, turned up and fucking had a good fucking go. And other people then, fucking, who should have been paid $1,000 or $2,000, probably fucking, you know, in terms of, probably didn't warrant paying them fucking 200 quid, you know, for the effort they'd actually put in. So yeah, I thought yeah, if you haven't watched that Danny G's 3D video he put on about 8 hours ago, I'd watch that. It's fucking nuts. Classic Danny G. Real Danny G. But yeah, I do like him, you know. It's weird for me, because as I've always said on this, well, I used to say, I got no favourites, I'm not here to judge anybody, and when you watch this stuff for months and months and months, you do end up having sort of, not so much favourites, but you do end up having people who are definitely like your least favourites and all this, you know. And, you know, I keep seeing situations where there'll be two people arguing and I like both of them, do you know what I mean? So it's like, doesn't pay to pick sides anyway in this business. But yeah, Rackpull, there's been these fight things going on. People are struggling to get paid fucking more than 200 quid. And he's coming on saying he wants 14 grand fucking half up front, you know, to fight Ash McGiffin. And, you know, it's just pure theatre. You know, it's Rackpull, Actapul, Dr. Actapul. You know, he's just acting, he's just making content, he's just funny. And there's people up in arms. Do you know what I mean? Oh, he's out of order. Oh, he's not worth that. You won't get... People talking about it like it's fucking real world. So I've been enjoying Rackpull's, you know, a couple of months ago, people forget, he was on somebody's live and he offered Paul Venice and Dougie Joyce out on the same night. Do you know what I mean? So that's what we're dealing with, and I don't understand why people don't get it. Yeah, Woodsman's been making a lot of videos. He actually called me out, but I think that's because it was a joke. Yeah, I can't fucking fight. Fuck. And I'm unfit. But I never could fight, even in my prime. Never very good at fighting. Yeah, Decker's going round and round in circles with his fucking nonsense, innit? Fucking, oh, I'm positive. And then he was coming on the other day all stressed out, fucking, because Ditchy said he's fighting Dean. And Decker's like, he's not fighting Dean, he's fighting me, It was like his fucking missus, fucking supposed to be going out for a drink with somebody else. And he was fucking tamping. Fucking weird. What else has been going on? Been watching some of Monk's lives. Nice little lives, Monk's nice. It is nice actually to have somewhere like Monk's where you go and you know it's going to be quite peaceful, do you know what I mean? He's tapped into a little market there. And sometimes I'll bounce around the fucking lives, do you know what I mean? I'll go on the cesspit, you know, which is a fucking weird place to be honest. But I'll go on there sometimes and I'll think, oh fuck this, what am I doing? And I'll bounce into Monk's life for a bit, because I know it's going to be quite fucking insane in there. And he's had a big rux with Kay apparently, but I haven't got a big problem with Kay. Well, I like Uncle Kay, and I haven't got a big problem with Monk. Do you know what I mean? So, as I say, just it's important to keep the distinction between YouTube, and real life. It's like, my phone is there, yeah, it takes up about that much space and about that much space, do you know what I mean? So in terms of just my kitchen, it's taken up, I'd say, what percentage of my kitchen and my phone taken up? I'd say maybe like a 10,000th of 1%. How many of my phones could you fit in my kitchen? It's hard to imagine. Am I imagine this empty or with all the cupboards? But you could probably fit 10. Fuck, you could probably fit 500,000 phones in my kitchen, and it's not that big. Maybe not that many, not boxed, out of the loose. But you could fit many, many tens and tens and tens, hundreds of thousands of phones, just in my kitchen. And then if you take my hallway and then my living room and then the bedrooms and then my garden next door that way, next to that way is like 15 properties, but next to that way, and then out into the garden, and then it goes into other houses and then down to the beach, and so the real world is a lot fucking bigger than this little world, innit? That's the point I'm making in such an amazing fashion. Yeah, I'm going to go now because it's nearly 3 o'clock on Saturday. I'm going to watch my bets go down. Just thought I'd make a video because I got out of the habit of doing it, and as I used to say, I got no favourites and I'm not here to judge, and I found myself being judgmental. I'd be watching people purely because I knew they were going to piss me off. And I don't want to do that, People are all doing their best. We all make mistakes. We all talk shit, Ultimately, I think human beings are 90% full of shit. Do you know what I mean? So if you can be, as a person, if you can be less than 90% full of shit in your life, you're doing better than most, really. Is there anything or anyone important I wanted to mention I've forgotten? Probably. Yeah, big up the clipping channels. Yeah, the clippers. They're some of my favourite watches now. People who just clip the madness. I've always liked them, but sometimes they've been more important than the actual lives and stuff recently. Just to keep a little bit of humour in it, Yeah, Len FTV is one of them. Ditchy backup, he's done some good stuff. Northern King. Been a few others, apologies if I can't remember the names. But yeah, keep up the good work. Shout out to, what's that guy's name now? Big Lee something from Swansea. He's talking sense, He's talking a lot of sense. And he made a video, I think it was last night, saying, this is just getting a bit fucking boring now. Which is why I've not bothered for a while, I think, because it was just going round and round and round. There was all that 3D build-up, and then there was the 3D aftermath, and the Decker and Dean. And sometimes you can just see that people are making videos purely to get views, yeah? Purely for no other reason than to get views. And then it starts making me think then, hang on, if these two people on the phone are like, yeah, do us a favour, make a video calling me all the cunts going, and I'll make one back, and we'll just bang these videos out for a week, and we'll pretend it's going somewhere, and then we'll just sort of paper over it then and move on. We both get a couple of 100,000 views, couple of quid. Yeah, right, mate, let's do that. Wouldn't surprise me if that's what's going on with Decker and Dean, to be honest with you. When I start seeing videos that just seem contrived, yeah, and done purely, like, you know, Rackpull does stuff, but without the other person being in on it, yeah, which makes it funny. But when it's being done and it seems like both people are in on it, after the first couple of videos, it's just like, oh, fuck off, lads, this is just fucking silly. Yeah. What's that guy's name? Big Lee something. See, I keep thinking Big Lee Marvin, but obviously not. He's an actor, isn't he? Big Lee Thomas or Big Lee. You know who you are, Big Lee. Anyway, shout out to you. If I see you around the town, I'll say hello. Yeah, fuck off tournament was amazing. It's lovely, you know. I sometimes think I've wasted my entire life, you know, and then I could say to myself, yeah, but you're currently captain of the Swansea fuck off team, captain of Swansea, and you're a Welsh international. And, you know, fuck golf may not mean much to some people, but to me it's the fastest growing sport in the world and my favourite sport. So I'm a Swansea captain and a Welsh international of what has become my favourite sport. And for that, I'm truly grateful. Anyone I've forgotten about, I'll come back to it in the next video, because there's a million things I wanted to talk about, and I've only covered 24. Alright, thanks guys, all the best, hairy chest.